So Daniel Dubois did this interview. This was uploaded on the Box Nation YouTube channel. And as you can see from their title, it says, Daniel Dubois left fuming over Joseph Parker situation. Now, I found this interview pretty funny because an angry Daniel Dubois, well, you certainly wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of his punches, whether he's angry or not. But as a viewer, watching an angry Daniel Dubois with this weird Best Dad Bod t-shirt on was amusing to me. Dubois has unusual mannerisms, an unusual personality and demeanor and so on. And, we've all speculated about why that is. Now, he's obviously frustrated by the stuff people are saying about him, that he's scared of Parker, he didn't want that smoke, he came up with some excuse. Anything is possible, folks. But here's why I'm not particularly convinced by that narrative. First of all, Daniel Dubois is on a great run of form. He's gone in there and he's smashed up Jarrell Miller. He's smashed up Filip Hrgovic. He's smashed up Anthony Joshua. I don't understand why a guy who's just beaten those three opponents would suddenly be so scared of Joseph Parker that he would pull out on fight week. It's not like Joseph Parker was his mandatory. Parker is WBO mandatory, not IBF mandatory. Remember, Daniel Dubois is IBF heavyweight champion. Dubois picked Joseph Parker as a voluntary defense. Why would you pick someone as an opponent and then get so scared at the last minute that you pull out? It seems improbable to me. I'm not saying it's impossible, but to me, it seems highly improbable. So I tend to suspect that he actually was sick because we had another opponent that was sick on fight week in Saudi that was supposed to be on that show fighting Shakur Stevenson, and he pulled out. And Daniel Dubois' team, you guys make of this what you will. Some of you won't believe it perhaps, but Daniel Dubois' team say that this is not the first time he suffered from this particular illness in the run-up to a fight. Now, some people might say, well, why didn't he pull out of the previous fights then, and only this one? Well, we don't know when he was ill during those camps, whether it was a bit earlier on. We don't know how severe the illness was in previous camps and so on. But I take on board people's point regarding that. But Daniel Dubois suggested in various interviews, certainly the one with Box Nation, that the environment in Saudi Arabia had something to do with him getting ill, whether there's certain bugs out there, because bear in mind, his 2 fights prior to fighting Anthony Joshua were in Saudi against Jarrell Miller and Filip Hrgovic. So has he noticed something when he's out there? He, in this interview, talked about the air conditioning potentially contributing to him getting ill. Now, some people are going to scoff at that and say, oh, that's ridiculous. Well, let me tell you something about living in the Middle East. I lived there for a couple of years in the past. I have never experienced aircon as cold as the aircon in the Middle East. It's incredible. I don't know the technicalities of these AC units they have out in the Middle East, but I can assure you they go much colder than any AC units I've ever encountered in any other country. When you go to those Gulf states, the rich Arab nations, their AC can go to damn near sub-zero. It's like freezing cold, and it can throw off your immune system if you're not used to it. I remember my brother was living out there anyway, and I went to go visit him, and we were going to go to the cinema together. I'd never been to a cinema out there. And this is middle of summer, blazing hot. He says to me, oh, you should bring a jumper or a hoodie. And I was like, are you mad? What are you talking about, jumper or a hoodie? It's like 45, nearly 50 degrees outside. What do I need a jumper or a hoodie for? He's like, trust me, inside the cinema it's freezing cold. Don't ask me why they have it like that, but that's how they do it here. Freezing cold inside the cinema. I was like, nah, come on, I'm coming from the UK. I'll be all right. You've just forgotten how cold the UK is. You just got too used to these Middle Eastern temperatures that you've forgotten what real cold feels like. So I was like, nah, man, I didn't want to listen to the guy. I didn't bring a jacket or a hoodie or a jumper or anything like that. I just came in my t-shirt. Boy, did I regret it. Because when I got in that cinema, oh my gosh, I had goosebumps. It was so damn cold. Unbelievable. Look, I don't know what the AC was like in Daniel Dubois' room, whether he had much control over it. I don't know. Some of these hotels have obviously got central air conditioning. So with that, a lot of time, maybe you don't have the remote or you've got less control. Some of them, you've got the AC unit actually in the room and you do have full control over it. So I don't know what the situation was. And some of them, by the way, some of these AC units, the temperature doesn't go very high. So he's going to be stuck on pretty damn cold all the time. And also, if the filter hasn't been cleaner, there's all sorts of things with AC units that could potentially affect somebody's health or contribute to them getting ill, sudden changes in temperature and stuff like that. So I'm not here to try and make excuses for Daniel Dubois. All I'm telling you is I don't find this notion that he genuinely got ill to be so far-fetched and ridiculous. People get ill, folks. Even going through a training camp, when you are pushing your body to the limit every day, it can actually start to weaken your immune system. And so when you're tapering down in maybe the final week, 10 days before the actual fight, some people even 2 weeks before the fight, that's when your immune system can start to get back on its feet. But there's always the potential there to still get ill and whatnot. So anyway, that's my take on Daniel Dubois. He's saying that he's angry. He wants to get in there against Joseph Parker. He wants to fight Alexander Usyk, but he actually said he would prefer to fight Parker than Usyk next. I think that's a foolish comment for him to make because I can't imagine his team would prefer him to fight Parker first rather than Usyk. Because fighting Usyk next means undisputed, whereas fighting Joseph Parker means that Dubois potentially could miss out on ever becoming undisputed champion or fighting in an undisputed title fight. So I think that's anger making him say foolish things. I think the right thing for him to do for his career, I'm not talking about morally with regards to Joseph Parker. I'm saying the right thing I think for his career would be to fight Alexander Usyk next. It's not like Alexander Usyk is a soft touch, folks. It's not like he's swerving Parker to take on a donut, a cream puff, or a bum, is it? He's pulled out the Parker fight, claiming he was ill, to go and take on somebody who is the number one in the world, better than Joseph Parker in Alexander Usyk. So I think that's the move for him to make. Joseph Parker is WBO interim champion. That interim has been called. So, Usyk could get stripped either before the Dubois fight or potentially just after it. So Parker's going to get his opportunity. That mandatory has been called, all right? I know there are going to be some people in the comments who are absolutely adamant that Daniel Dubois swerved Joseph Parker and that he's terrified of him, all this type of stuff. I mean, look, anything is possible, but it just doesn't seem probable to me. Think about who Daniel Dubois has fought. Think about the manner of his victories. Think about the fact that he picked Joseph Parker as an opponent. In fact, one last thing. Daniel Dubois basically suggested that he would like his next fight to be in the UK. Again, alluding to the idea that there's something about the environment or the atmosphere in Saudi Arabia that is contributing to him getting ill. So let's see if Turki Al-Sheikh, Frank Warren, the people around Daniel Dubois can make that happen for him, because he doesn't seem particularly keen on fighting in Saudi Arabia again. And there have been other fighters. There's been, particularly in the American boxing scene, this narrative going round that you will get ill or something will happen to you. Some people are even suggesting that you might get poisoned in Saudi Arabia, right? So there is kind of a growing paranoia in some circles, mostly in America, but maybe Daniel Dubois is also buying into that because of the way he felt going into the fight with Joseph Parker that never was. But then again, people are going to point out, why did you perform so well against Jarrell Miller? That was in Saudi. Why did you perform so well against Filip Hrgović? That was in Saudi. Two of the best performances of his career were in Saudi Arabia. So anyway, we'll leave that there. Are you surrounded by mindless bots in human form who adhere to the norm and blindly conform? Who swallow all the mainstream BS and actually ridicule you for questioning things? Do you wish you had more free-thinking individuals in your life to network and converse with? Well, look no further. We're right here. Come and join the Brotherhood of Reason on Patreon. You'll gain access to my weekly topical content where we take deep dives on an endless variety of subjects, as well as my vast back catalogue of podcasts, videos, interviews, movie decodings, and my Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You'll also get to talk and network with myself and hundreds of other people in our members chat. You can enjoy all this via the Patreon app or on desktop and download all my podcasts in high-quality MP3. There's no contract, no commitment. You can cancel at any time, just like Netflix, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. Just download the app from the Play Store or the App Store, or simply visit patreon.com on a web browser. Then head on over to my page and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. All the links are in the description box below. And just a quick money-saving tip for Apple users. If you purchase your Patreon subscription on the desktop site or on Android, then you'll avoid the ridiculous 30% fee that Apple charges for purchases made on the iOS app. So if you're on iPhone or iPad, save yourself some money by buying your subscription on the actual Patreon website or on Android because it's a lot cheaper. Once you've made that initial purchase, you can then use the Patreon app on your iPhone or iPad thereafter to access and enjoy your content as normal.